don't even know what this will be. I got home from work a couple hours ago, took like a short nap, and then figured, I haven't done a live stream in a while, and I think I promised at least one a month, if not two. And I just figured, well, I don't have anything planned, but before I start writing tonight, I figured maybe I could do something like this. So we'll just kind of hang out. We'll see if anyone shows up. If so, we'll chat. We'll ask questions. If no one shows up, then I'll wrap it up early. We'll just we'll keep it simple. So yeah, let me get the chat up in case anyone pops in. And like I said, I wasn't planning anything. I was laying in bed, and I don't know. I've been going down like a bunch of weird uh, rabbit holes lately, as far as like um, I guess things that like interest me. And I still to this day, as much as I love comic books and Transformers and all that stuff, um, I think people still interest me the most, and I find a lot of their behavior fascinating, and I also find a lot of their behavior interesting because I see a little bit of that in myself. Like if like someone's acting on like a way that's a negative, I might be like, oh, you know what, I feel like I've done that before, and that is a negative thing, and. So I don't know. I've just been going in this spiral of just like watching random clips of things online, good and bad, to and then like trying to process it. And so yeah, so then I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't want to like ingest anymore. I was like, oh, well, now I want to do something. And I said, well, will I feel good enough to have a light in my eyes during video? Because if so, I should just do a live stream since I haven't done one in a while. So that's why we're here. But no one's popped in because, like I said, this is just like random. It's 11 o'clock at night on June 28th, 2021. And I don't even know if I have a topic. I will say this, and I'll talk a little bit, and then we'll see if people come in, and if they don't, they don't. Some things I've been working on for you guys for the channel. I've been reading more of this Chillers, and I did like the recording of it. I just have to edit it and find some visuals to go with the edit. So I will have Chillers Part 2. I'll try to get that to you guys by Wednesday, by the end of the month. And then Part 3, I'll try to get to you guys at the end of July. And then we also have Carnage Week coming up, so I'll probably start it around Thursday. So it'll be late, but I'll probably do 2 videos on Thursday, and then maybe like 2 videos on Friday, and then a video Saturday and a video Sunday. So that's I think how I'm going to do Carnage Week, because I still want to finish Tresse, the anime I've been watching. I did finish the final 3 episodes, and I wanted to record a single video for my episode 4 review or discussion, and then also episode 5 and 6 I want to do together in one video. So I'll try to get those out, and I'll try not to say what I think about those episodes, but it may shock some of you, and then some of you may not be so shocked if you've been on the channel for a long time. And yeah, so that's all. I mean, I've been working on that stuff. I have some Res Evil videos that I was going to edit tonight, but I really am trying to work on Neverland. There was some unexpected changes, and there was a little bit of a delay. I was trying to find a printer before I had my surgery last month, and I didn't. And then after the surgery, I was recovering and trying to bounce back, and and trying to upload those videos I recorded before my surgery, and try to get those edited and posted. And so I never got around to working on the last parts of the book. And then I still never found a printer. I could print on demand, and I'm probably going to do that, but I wanted to try to find a printer and do something a little different. But I see people popping in and out, so if you're here, feel free to jump in and say hey. Like I said, I'm not really sure what this episode is. I guess it'll be kind of a Seek and Destroy episode, but we'll see where the conversation goes. What's up, Twisty? How's it going? Our first chat person. And thank you for the thumbs up, whoever left that thumbs up. I appreciate it. Twisty, I hope you're doing well. I've been enjoying the art I saw on your Instagram. I don't remember what day. I've been my memory stuff has not been so well lately. So I'm losing track of days a little bit more than I was, and I think the reason is because I've been getting behind on my notes and updating my board a little bit, because I've seen some notes on there, but nothing as recent as like even yesterday. So I must not be updating, or things might not be happening daily to where I need to update or something. I don't really know. But I'm having some issues. I have been having some issues. And it's, I don't know, I'm working on it. I'm dealing with it. But yeah, I won't bore you guys with that stuff tonight. But yeah, so like I said, I've just kind of been going on this rabbit hole of just like human behavior, which is a song by Bjork that I love, and it was also a song that kind of was the impetus for a project I did called Elan Vital, which was kind of my assessment of humanity at that time in like 2015 or 16, whenever I made that book. And that book was very much my comment on myself and humanity, and then where me and humanity fit together, and if we fit at all. And that was kind of like the whole journey of that book. Um, and yeah, I don't know. So I was thinking about human behavior lately, and how interesting people are, good and bad, how entitled people are, which is a thing I don't like about people. I know we all have our moments of entitlement, but I see people's entitlement get really, really bad sometimes. So but I still find that interesting. I still wonder. I want to know why. Sometimes. So I'll watch things online where it's like people freaking out or whatever it is, where they're kind of entitled and they feel like they are owed something. And I don't know. I've been watching a lot of that stuff lately. So yeah. Hey Andrew, what's up? Campion Long wants to check in though. Eye seems like it's healing well, and I was told I can use my tablet, which is why I'm risking to begin with. Well, like you said, don't push yourself too much. If you need to if you need to dim it a little bit, and you just want to listen to us in the background, and you don't want to chat, that's fine too. I appreciate that, Andrew. You've been really great about giving me feedback. Obviously, I have to do some things differently on my channel, because I just can't have these lights in my face all the time. Although I do like doing these videos and smiling and keeping things personal. It actually really broke my heart the other day. I uploaded a video where I reviewed this movie right here, Batman: The Long Halloween, and I gave out a digital code for the movie in the review because Warner Brothers was nice enough to send this to me, and I was not expecting that at all. I'm on their press list, and they were sending me video, or not videos, but like links to the trailers, and like clips from the movie, and then also like still images from the movie. So I was sharing those as much as I could on either social media or Instagram, or here on this channel when me and Alex did Beyond the Source Wall, which that will come back next month. But I was not expecting them to send me an actual copy, which it just was awesome because I have like no money right now to do anything other than buy a little bit of food and get Echo some food, which I did yesterday, and basically pay bills. There was a couple of figures that I bought recently, like a He-Man figures that I bought because I was gonna maybe sell them to a friend for the same price. I was just gonna I paid like $30 for this 2-pack, and then bought a couple single figures, and I was just going to sell them for the price to a friend, but he ended up not wanting them. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just return them, and I'll put on a gift card, and that way I have grocery money for the week and maybe the next 2 weeks, hopefully. Just eat a lot of PB&J. So that way I can, get back to doing this kind of stuff and focusing on Neverland, and then have like a stocked refrigerator for once, because I haven't had one fully stocked in a while. So it was nice to like half stock a refrigerator. It was pretty good. So human behavior is a really big subject to get your interest. Human behavior is honestly one of the things I'm interested in most. I like to study myself and people. I really do. I don't think there's anything I've seen in my 11 years on this, 39 years technically, on this planet that interests me more than people, and also behavior, because I feel like we all have bad behavior sometimes, and so I like to examine that and be like, well, why did I act this way towards a certain person, or why was I meaner than what was maybe warranted for the situation. And I just find that stuff interesting. I find emotions, and their power over us sometimes. I find that very interesting. I find how willingly we're able to throw logic out the window sometimes in exchange for an emotional overdrive is interesting. And I don't think it's good or bad. I'm just interested in it. So yeah, it is a deep subject. So I went everything, like I was on YouTube and I was watching everything from police arrests to people wrongfully convicted and like evidence coming out and showing that they're innocent. Um, America's Got Talent failures and successes. uh, what else did I see? Like things that will renew your faith in humanity. Like there's videos labeled that where it's like someone helping someone out or you know doing something nice for somebody and not knowing they're recorded or whatever. I went all over the place. Like I went to every corner of the you know, within the limits of YouTube, I guess, and within the limits of what I'm willing to watch. Like, I don't want to watch anyone die, or I don't want to watch anything like that. I know those things happen, but I don't want to bear witness to it. So I within my bubble-ish way, going outside of it a little bit, I was just wanting to see different types and examples of human behavior. And I don't know, I really enjoyed just watching people on YouTube, everything from reaction videos to cooking videos, to how people act when they're on the news, to, you know, I mean, everything. I just was like really enamored, and I always am. Like I'll get into that rut. Well, I wouldn't even call it a rut because I like it. I get into this mode sometimes where I just like observing how people are because it's interesting. It's interesting to see what makes people feel entitled. It's interesting to see what makes people upset, what makes them feel happy. You know, I don't know. I know I sound like a robot or something studying humanity, but I really do. I do enjoy this learning. I think that helps me with my writing. That's probably why I really do it, and I'm probably just not being so open about that dot connecting. You know, with me working on Neverland, I have a lot of characters that have different personalities, and one of the things I wanted to do was write individuals. I wanted everyone to feel different, come from different backgrounds, come from different points of view, and I thought that was the only way that could work. Like the story could only work if everyone was different. Like maybe some people had similar goals, but the way they get there is different. And it was, to me, it was just the only, like when I wrote the first couple drafts of Neverland, I felt like a lot of the Lost Boys were very similar, cut from the same cloth, and weren't reacting to things differently. They were kind of in unison a lot, and I didn't like that. And then same with the pirates, I didn't really like that a lot. And then the cannibals, I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but the cannibals, they made sense to make into a hive mind, but everybody else, I wanted them to have a little bit more individuality. So I think that's why sometimes I go down this rabbit hole of people, is so I can just see how people react in situations, and then I can try to apply that to characters in my stuff. Dude, that was pretty cool of Warner Bros. To do that. Unlike live action material, DC has pretty consistently knocked animation out of the park. I love the DC animated stuff. I love Warner Brothers home entertainment. I've tried to kind of make connections with those guys for years, and I had some luck with like through Brendan Vietti and Sam Liu, and they've introduced me to people, and they brought me to screenings for their Lego DC animated movies that they made, and which I own all of. I just bought Shazam recently, so now I have every single Lego DC direct-to-video animated movie. I own them all, and so I love like what they make over there, the amount of work that's put into it, because I know about some of it, and I've seen a little bit behind the scenes of some things, and I love it, you know, and I keep my mouth shut about it, you know, like I'm supposed to. But I love what they do, and so I've been trying, and like I've been on and off their press list over the years, and I'm like, oh man, does someone not like me over there? Like, am I doing something wrong, or am I just not getting enough views? And so that's why sometimes when you see me get a little bummed, like, oh, I put up my review of Long Halloween, and it got like 30 something views, and I'm like, oh, but then like my Venom stuff obviously does, like, you know, might get like 100 or 200 or 300 views, sometimes more if I'm lucky. My Tressé videos, those were through Warner Brothers, so I think they were pretty happy that those videos, or a couple of them, got over 1,000 or 2,000 views. So I think they were like, okay, cool. And then I also learned by making those videos the power of anime fans, and the power of fans in the Philippines, because I had a lot of people subscribe to me from the Philippines who watch those episodes, and even if I was wrong about an interpretation of something, they were very nice to tell me what the show was actually trying to say. And it was a cool experience, like seeing the responses from those episodes, because I'm not a big anime guy, so it was fascinating to see the response of people like witnessing me, you know, dissecting the show. So yeah, it was cool. So DC or Warner Brothers, the connection that has me on their press list, they sent me the Tressé thing. they sent me this Batman Long Halloween physical copy, which, like I said, I was not expecting. And then they also sent me some information for the new Mortal Kombat animated movie coming up, and for Batman Long Halloween Part 2. So it's just really cool. It's something I've always kind of hoped I could get with Sony at some point. I think a lot of the stuff I did with Sony, I kind of went off and took initiative and trying to do on my own. Like my friend Andrew, invited. We had screening tickets for a screening of Venom 1, and I wasn't going to go because I wasn't feeling well. But Andrew was like, "You should come. Nobody's here." And I heard we might get a special guest. I don't know for sure, but you should come down. So I toughed it out and I went down, and I'm glad I did because we got to meet Tom Hardy and he did the intro for the show. And then with the filming in San Francisco, it was like, it was a little bit more of a outside the box, didn't go through any official contacts or anything, and just figuring out where filming was and reaching out, making a point of contact, and then working that out to go to the set, in just to be by and watch, like not be active in anything, but just to be a bystander. And again, those were things that I felt like I earned through initiation, or initiative, and not initiation, initiative, and I kind of always hoped, like, well, I made 500 300 videos at one point, 400, 500, and I kept hoping maybe someone at Sony would eventually, I could contact them or be on a press list and stuff. And even though I met a couple people there, I never made that connection. I never was able to figure out how to do it. But Warner Brothers was something I've always wanted to do with their animation stuff, because I love their animated films and I love a lot of the stuff they put out there, from cartoons to the direct-to-video movies. So I'm glad too that I got to make that connection. It's awesome. So that's why I'm trying to work hard on making a DC show with Seek and R, because I want to continue to cover the stuff that comes in, because they're literally sending me this stuff, and if I don't make videos on it or use it, they'll just be like, okay, he's not interested, and they'll stop sending it to me. But I'm very interested, so I want to try to keep up with that news as much as possible. What's up, Riddle John? How's it going? Andrew says, given my own lack of social graves and my own upbringing, getting a grasp of why is interesting, as I have understandably been stuck having to do a lot of self-reflection. It's hard. I'll tell you this right now. It's hard to do. Hey, Angel Rose, what's up? How's it going? Good to see you. Self-reflection is very hard. Sorry, my mouth is running dry, so forgive me if I have to take a drink. I'll do it off camera, because I don't find it very professional to drink on camera, even though I do it sometimes. Okay, now let me tell you about self-reflection. So self-reflection is one of the hardest things I think I've ever done. And you have to make a lot of mistakes, I think, well, no, you don't have to, I guess, but if you make enough even if you make enough mistakes and you have people tell you that you've done wrong to them, or that they see that their point of view of the situation is a negative at them from your point, from you, if you're willing to listen to that and ingest it, no matter how hard it is to hear, I think that helps open the door to self-reflection, at least in my experience. And I don't know how many people would disagree with that. I think a good way you can't open that door all the time by yourself. Some people can. Some people have like tremendous willpower and can figure it out, and look, they realize they're doing something wrong and stop. Sometimes, though, we can't. Sometimes we say something to somebody and we don't really mean it, but we said it because we're angry. And maybe we're not even angry at them, we're projecting. And I think once you, I don't know, have that experience where you go, you know what, maybe I did do something wrong. Or if they feel this passionately about it, I must have not been 100% in the right, and usually what you find is you're in the gray, like you've done something, and then not all the time the other person did something, but sometimes you might be like, oh, I did this, but they interpreted it this way, and I didn't mean for that, but I guess I came across that way, and and you hope that both parties can grow from it, or you hope that it wasn't too damaging to where you can't forgive each other, and then you just you try to take the next step and not forget that it happened, but just acknowledge that it's in the past and that it was bad and that you want to do different. You want to be better next time. I think I think that's what everybody wants, right? Like I see everyone getting mad at people for not being perfect, and I find that the most interesting when I am analyzing people is I mean, I don't think anyone's perfect. Like I think most people will agree with that. Nobody on this planet is perfect. Um, if you're perfect, then what's the point of anything anymore? Like you've grown, you've hit your plateau. Like there's nothing left if you're perfect. And I don't think, I think life is more complicated than that. You can't just be perfect. Um, I think someone said this to me once, and I thought it was really interesting. I don't know if I believe it, but they said, "What if the moment you realize, like, the purpose of life, that's the moment you pass on to the next life?" And I just thought that was interesting. And they're like, yeah, and it's like they're like, yeah, what if that's you realize it, and that revelation is is there at the moment when you have a heart attack, or when or you're battling cancer, and and you get to the point where cancer has won, or something else, brain aneurysm, even like what if at that moment you realize that what our purpose is here, is the moment, that's the final step to open that door to go on to the next life. I'm like, that's interesting, but I think the meaning of life is different for everyone. Everyone's looking for something different. Everyone's in pursuit of something different. So I like watching these videos where people are talking about their pursuits, like, oh, I want to be a singer, or I want to be a dancer, or I want to be you know I want to be the best mechanic, like I want to be the best garbage man, or I just want to be the best father or mother, like that I can be, and it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect every time. Like any job, there's a training period, there's like a 90-day evaluation, 3-year evaluation or whatever. There's, making it to 5 years and not being complacent. You got to still want to learn and still want to grow. So I think taking responsibility and self-reflection is the hardest thing, but if you can do it even on a small scale, you're moving in the right direction. And one thing, just do yourself a favor. Don't be like me. When I fail at something, I really beat myself up over it. It's because I think I expect more from myself sometimes, but I also need to remember that I'm just human, and I need to go like, okay, you didn't do it this time, or you didn't hit this release date like you said, or you didn't do this, but you're still working on it, and that's the key, is you haven't given up. So keep going, keep doing it, and get it done as soon as possible, and get it done in a way where you feel proud of it. And I think that's all we all can do. Andrew says, one last thing before I go, Lurk, and by the way, hi, 5 people in here hearing me just ramble about nonsense. If you have anything you want to add to anything, you have a question, we're just kind of, just like I said, not sure, let's chat. That's the name of this video. So feel free to drop your comments. One last thing before I go and Lurk, I hope I am wrong, but at some point in the Venom movies, Dan is going to die, basically where the red fern grows. Hard to explain, but I hope I am wrong. I think I kind of know what you mean by that. I mean, yeah, I think Dan's a likable character, and so it would make sense to up the stakes in a story to kill a character like him or Mrs. Chen. Obviously, I don't want either one of them to die because I like both characters, but you're right. I don't think you're wrong about that. It's a good theory. I don't know who knows if that'll happen, but it's a good theory. Hey, Cinnabon, sorry I haven't been available a lot due to my own content and talking with friends, family stuff, medical issues too. Hey, that's okay. Like, you don't ever owe me an apology. I do see some of you do that sometimes. You're like, hey, man, sorry I haven't been around in a while. You all don't owe me an apology, for not watching every single silly video I post. Like I said, sometimes I wish some of my videos would do better, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Like, if I want to make DC content, I'm going to keep making it, and like Venom, like we have an endpoint for the Venom vlog, and and some people are like, dude, are you, like, as someone asked me, he's like, are you scared you're going to like stop doing Venom content? I'm like, well, we're going to stop covering the comics and just like, pumping out videos as much as we have been over the past few years. Like, after the second movie comes out, we'll review it, and then we'll do the box offices, money that the movies make, the movie makes over the first month or so, and then we'll probably do a DVD Blu-ray review of it, and then probably cover some of the special features like we did with the first movie, and then we'll probably end the show there, and I'll probably only make Venom vlog episodes whenever movie news comes out, for the third one. And it will have to be big news. I won't make a video on everything. I probably won't make videos on filming behind the scenes. I don't know. I don't plan on doing all that stuff. I think I'll just make videos like whenever we get like a casting news, or some kind of big piece of news, like that. Um, but yeah, some people are like, "Are you scared?" Because that was kind of like your thing. That's what got you a lot of subscribers. And I said, "It is." And I hope that my passion for what I've done for the Venom vlog is visible in the other things I create, and even if they're not a fan of like Green Lantern or other things like that, like the character, maybe not the movie, that's fine, but the character at least, I'm a big Green Lantern fan. Even if they're not interested in that stuff, hopefully my passion for it might give them like maybe they'll give it a chance. But I can't, I can only do what um, makes me happy, and also helps build a discourse between people. And I feel like we've said everything we've wanted to say about Venom. Like I feel like you guys know exactly where I stand. You know what I think of the character. You know who my favorite one is. My favorite Venom is. Or the favorite human host. Like you know all that stuff, and we have it well documented over 600 plus episodes. So to me, I'm like, okay, well, this was a great conversation to have for 4 years. Was dissecting this character. Let's see what else we can do now, and so yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Here's some love for you, Seek, in this community. We love you too, Cinnabon. Thanks for being in here. And good luck. I know you and Andrew and Cam and other people that watch the show. You all also have health issues that you go through and obstacles that you face and challenges that you face. So obviously, good luck. I wish you the best. I'm here. I'll try to make content to keep you entertained at least, or at least keep you talking with someone. If you, because I shut down a lot. Like when I am not doing too well, I stop texting friends. I stop calling people. I sometimes stop writing. Sometimes stop making videos. Like I kind of shut down, and I'm just like, okay, I need to focus a little bit on me right now and get my breathing down, and figure out how I'm going to handle like this part of the process, and update my board. Focus on Echo, take him for walks or play with him more. Like it's just talk to my mom more. Like there's a lot of things that I do in that regard. So I hope you do too. But like I said, sometimes I'll shut down and do none of it, and I'll like lurk in YouTubers live streams and stuff. And like my friend Dave the Film Junkie, it's funny. I don't want. I mean, I like Dave as a person, but a lot of the content he covers for DC is the kind of stuff I don't like talking about. It's like movie gossip and like fandom wars with each other with other people and stuff. And like I said, I love Dave, and I could listen to that guy talk forever because he makes me laugh and smile. And even if I don't agree with him on a topic, I'm entertained by him. He's a fun guy, and he's really nice. And so like I'll lurk in his channels sometimes, and every once in a while I'll comment. But because he gets like a lot of comments, he's like 200 or 300 people watching at a time or more sometimes. My comment flies by, so he doesn't even see it most days, and I'm just like, oh well, whatever. I'll catch him in the after show or the post show, and I usually will try to comment on his members only post shows because I'm a subscriber of his channel. So yeah, so I get like that too. I play your videos and some streams in the background as I make my videos for YouTube. That means a lot. That really does. Will you do we follow each other on Instagram? So my main Instagram account, as you noticed, I don't post that much anymore. I've kind of started to lean away from it, but I do like Instagram. I've always liked it more than Twitter and Facebook ever since I had Instagram. And I think that's because since I'm not a visual person, it's nice because it's a thing that you mainly post visuals on. So I kind of like that, and I sometimes go on diatribes and rants and stuff in the caption, but sometimes I just keep it simple, and I'm like, here's a picture and hashtag Green Lantern or something. But I've always liked Instagram, so if you want to DM me, oh yeah, you don't have a social media. Well, here, let me see if I can go to your channel right now. Come on, Cletus. Because I thought I was. Oh, what the heck? Why won't it let me click on your account? Can you drop a link to your channel? For some reason, it won't let me like click on your name. It says, I mean, I can, but it says like, would you like to report this person? I'm like, no, I wanna make sure I'm subscribed to them, because I'm sure I am. I just want to make sure. It's okay, bro. I use my Instagram more than Facebook, and I hate Twitter. Oh God, Twitter. So I was on Twitter, as you guys know, I was on it for a while. I got up to a couple thousand followers at one point, and then I deleted it for like 4 years. And then I went back on it when we started doing more Venom vlog stuff, because people were telling me like you should get on there. You could communicate more with, like, Kelly Marcel was nice enough to follow me back, and Sam Liu and some people from Warner Brothers, and it was nice to get that. And we were growing up to 1,000 followers again. And then, as much as I like having a way to connect with those people, I also don't want to bother them too much, because I love what they do, and I don't want to feel like I'm just like overstepping any bounds. Like I love Sam Liu. That guy was always nice to me, just always amazing, great filmmaker. Brendan Vietti. And if I messaged them twice in a month, I would always feel like, oh, dude, you're probably bothering them. Although I'm sure they never felt that way. But it's like same with Kevin Burke and Doc Wyatt. Like, I follow them on Instagram. Doc's not very active on Instagram, but Kevin is. So I try to like stuff every now and again, just to let them know, like, hey, I'm still grateful for everything and for being on the show and everything that you've done for the channel, and getting the interviews for Venom, Maximum Venom and stuff. And but I always feel like I don't want to overstep. I'm not very good at the networking part of growing a business. I guess, as one person put it, they were like, oh, look at YouTube as a business that you're trying to grow, and you need to get better at networking and SEO and have a better presence. And I learned SEO. I know about that stuff, but I don't apply myself that way, because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer. So yeah. Oh, hold on. I'll read your comment here in a second, Dan. Yeah, sure. One sec. There's the link. Oh, I don't see it. Dang it. Where's the link? I don't see the link. Dan says, hey, you racist, you need more diversity on the show. You are only making it because of your white privilege. I mean, yeah, sure. My white privilege comes with brain aneurysms and fatigue and living check to check. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of, but I'm not complaining. I guess I do got a lot going for me. I got a cool background. And I got Warner Brothers sent me a copy of Long Halloween, which is awesome. I do. You know what? Maybe Echo will be a guest host on our show. He does do. I have another Echo episode that I could edit if you want to see diversity and like he's a dog, so you could see a dog on this channel if you want. But yeah, anyway, well, thanks for your comment. Riddle John says he had me on his show and I'm Hispanic. I'm not even gonna answer the racist part, because obviously it's not true. Like, if you just go back and watch my whole channel, I don't know, if I think Dan's just messing around. But yeah, I mean, whatever. But it's funny though, because I saw a lot of that, what Dan was saying, like when I was going through YouTube and like just watching other people's videos and like kind of their commented on a video of mine, Cinnabon, or on my my community board, my wall. I think I posted something the other day. Comment on there and I'll click on it from there. I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed to you, but I just want to make sure, because my memory obviously is shit. But yeah, but what Dan was talking about, how like the way people get attacked. Like, I saw something, I don't know the full story on this, so forgive me. So Hispanics for Sikh. My grandma was she was half Hispanic, half Italian. She had I think a Spanish. One of her parents was Spanish. One of her parents was from Italy. So there's some Spanish in me too. But we're all descendants from like the motherland. So what Dan was saying. So like I saw this lady, and I don't know the full story, so I'm not going to get into this, because it's definitely probably like a touchy subject for a lot of people. But it's there was like a teacher, and she brought cupcakes for Pride Month, which is works, obviously it's fine, but like I guess she wouldn't give cupcakes to straight kids in the class. But I'm like, yeah, but they're kids. Like, I don't know what grade they were in. I think like 4th or 5th. Maybe they were a little bit older. I don't know. But I'm like, I mean, I had a friend who was like, didn't realize he was gay till he was like in his 40s. So I'm like, so what? So my friend couldn't get a cupcake back then, but now he can, or whatever. Like, I don't know. But the teacher was like really mean and saying really mean things to the kid. And the kid was just confused. He was like, why can't I have a cupcake? Like, and then I was like, well, was it because certain kids got A's on their test and it was a reward for that? But it wasn't. It was like, I don't know, it was something more than that. So I don't want to get into all that, but the teacher was yelling things at the kid that I was just like, it's a kid. Like even as adults, like look how adults act like a bunch of bratty children a lot, like, and they say stupid teenager shit all the time. And I just I don't know, I'm like, we're still forming as people. Like even at my age at 39, like, yeah, I'm still figuring out things about myself, like, and you grow too, like you learn through experience, like the things you like to do and you don't like to do, the type of person you're going to be, the type of person you're not going to be. And I see that a lot. Like I'm a big X-Men fan, like old school X-Men fan. So, and I grew up in the South and grew up in a lot of places in up north where there's racists up north too, by the way, people. And there are some people out there that do have prejudices, but I've always seen, um, I've always liked that Charles Xavier thing where it's like, all right, you meet someone who's racist or something. I don't immediately shut them down typically, unless they're like really aggressive. Then I'm more or less backing off them because they're aggressive. But I feel like it's like, hey man, if you want to be like that, that's fine. But I promise you, you will find whatever race you hate, you will find someone of that race that you're gonna like, that you're gonna be like, hey, this person's cool. I want to be their friend. And maybe I should ease up on this bullshit, point of view I have. But like I said, I don't know. I think everyone has like their prejudices at time, but it's rare to meet like a full-on racist, I feel. But maybe I have white privilege and that's why I never meet them. But I work at Harley Davidson and we get all walks of life that come in. When before that I worked at Lego, we have all walks of life come in. And what I notice is that assholes treat people like shit all the time, and it doesn't matter what skin color you are or if you actually have a prejudice or not. If you're just at your soul an asshole, you're gonna lash out to whoever, and then people are gonna interpret that rage as something, and they're gonna label it as something. But to me, I don't know. I don't really give that stuff. It's not that I don't give it thought, but I guess I don't, since I don't experience it one-on-one all the time. I don't really. It's not something that's in my head until I go to YouTube and I see videos about it, and then I start going like, oh, well, this is interesting. This is an interesting topic. Let's see how these people handle this situation, and I'm more or less invested for that reason. So yeah. Latest video, awesome. Thank you, Cinnabon. Skullman says 90s Spider-Man cartoon and the Raimi-verse are the best version of Spider-Man outside of the comics. Also restore the Raimi-verse. Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll see that with Doctor Strange. Hey, Christian, what's up, dude? Welcome. Regarding introspection, mine has been on events from a couple years ago where I can justify everything I've done as not wrong, but then there were clearly some communication problems that ended ugly. You're talking about like a breakup or something? That happens a lot. To go more into detail would be too personal. It's just all kinds haunt me because I lost a pair a long time ago of friends. I just can't see where things went from fine to not fine. It's hard, man. It's really hard. There was some friends I had in South Carolina where I really thought I'd probably be friends with them for the rest of my life. And it was weird, the thing that stopped us being friends. I mean, and not really weird, because when I try to look back on it, I'm like, well, I was definitely in the wrong about this, and this. But then I also am like, but I tried to communicate or offer a solution to something, and then my friend had to go and call me a hypocrite on something, and I think that triggered me to get upset because I didn't feel like in the moment I was being hypocritical. I guess maybe on some, we were talking about, I don't like watching movies that are illegally downloaded, and I have an issue with that because as someone who makes content like comic books and worked in movies and stuff, like I don't like that stuff being stolen and viewed. I understand that there are people around the world that don't have access to it through proper channels, and they might have to torrent it or something, but my friend doesn't have to. He lives here in the United States, and he just downloads stuff. Now he always says if I like the movie after I watch it, I'll go buy it. And I'm like, yeah, but how often do you really do that? Because it's not like he had a massive DVD Blu-ray collection. He just had a big digital collection of, torrented movies. And so we butted heads on that sometimes. So one night we watched a torrented movie, and and um, I was against it, but I'm like, well, I'm a guest at his house. I should just let it go. So I let it go, and then the second movie we watched was Harmontown, which is Dan Harmon's movie. And Dan, at that time, especially, we talked, and texted each other sometimes, and he would have me on his podcast, and we were, closer. I haven't talked to him in years, but at that time we were friends, and so I didn't want to watch a torrented version of my friend's movie, and so I said, hey, we can actually rent this on the website, and just link. He had a thing where his computer could, I mean, his TV, his monitor, which was like a big 70-inch plasma or whatever, it could go online. And I'm like, so if you go online and go to the website, it's $5. I have my credit card here. Just let me pay the $5 and we'll watch it. And he was like, no, I want to watch the version I have. And I'm like, dude, it's not a big deal. I'll pay for it. It's $5 to rent it. I'd rather I'll feel good contributing to my friend's movie. And he's like, you're such a hypocrite. You just watched a movie that we had for free, and now you want to pay for this one. I'm like, okay, don't call me a hypocrite. My friend made this movie. Yeah, my friend didn't make that last movie, but I'm a guest in your house. I didn't want to make a kerfuffle over this, but this is my friend's movie. Can you just respect that about me and let me pay for it? And you can watch your torrented one later if you want. But with me here, I don't want to watch a torrented version of my friend's movie. And he got mad at me, and then he snapped at me, and then I snapped at him. But because I raised my voice, I guess that's a rule of his, that he doesn't want anyone to raise their voice in his house. So he said, get the hell out of my house. And then we haven't spoken since. And that was a guy who was like a brother to me, over a $5 rental. So yeah, it's funny you say that. You never know when something will go from fine to not fine with a friend, or someone you're dating, or married to, or anything. You don't know. You've been interesting listening back to lurking. Hey, thanks, Andrew. That's effed up. I agree, Cinnabon. I've dealt with transphobia, and I've been getting better at blocking it out. I mean, here's the thing is, it's tough. I'm not going to sit, I've been bullied, and someone always told me, oh, how do you get rid of a bully? You ignore them. But I know that doesn't always work. There's been times where I've had to punch bullies because they won't stop. They'll keep calling me the poor kid, or they'll keep beating me up for whatever reason, that they thought was justifiable to beat me up. And so I, like you said, I mean, I would never ask someone to block out something that they don't like hearing. I don't think that's always a solution either. But I think what you need to do is just know, okay, this person's saying these things. But a lot of times when people get that, in my experience, and it's not every case, but I would say 90 maybe % of the cases I've ever had experiences in, when someone's that mad at somebody, whether it's transphobia or they hate them because they're straight, even, I've seen that happen lately too, which is whatever. But whatever the reason you hate someone else, it's usually not them you hate. I've noticed that a lot. You've seen it a lot of times where these sometimes super religious guys will go on and speak, and they'll ban homosexuality and all that stuff, and then a year or two later they get caught having sex with a guy cheating on their wife, and so it turns out they're gay. It's a lot of times that is what happens. People start discovering things about themselves, and it freaks them out because it's a change, and they don't want to change, or they don't want to be the real them, even sometimes. And so, at least in my experience, I've seen a lot of times when people direct a really intense hostility at someone, it's because they hate something in themselves, and they're either projecting it, or they see the other person doing the thing that they hate that they do, and they scream. There was this one woman once who was at a coffee shop, I think, and she was screaming at the barista, calling her a whore, saying she probably does things online for money and blah, blah, blah. She knew nothing about this young lady that worked behind the register. But because the young lady was, I guess, a little pretty or something like that to this lady, she just screamed at her and said, you're a whore, you're this, you're that, you'll never make it to anything, so you're just going to sell your body online. Turns out that lady that was screaming at the young girl, that's what she used to do before her current job, when she felt entitled to yell at a young girl working at a coffee shop. So it turns out she was just projecting something she did when she was younger and thinner and more beautiful. And she projected it onto this girl and yelled at her for doing it, even though the girl was like, I don't do any of those things. I work here and I work a second job or whatever. Like I work hard for the little I have, and you're telling me I'm doing these things that I won't do online. And so it just, again, human behavior. I'm fascinated by it. I see a lot of projection sometimes. Even me, like I've done that before, where I'm like, you know what, I hate that guy. Like if I'm working with someone, I'm like, you know what, I don't like that guy. I hate him. Maybe hate's a strong word, but I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't like that guy. And then I realize, like, well, he does this thing, and then I'll say it out loud to somebody. I'm like, yeah, I don't like that he does that. And then someone will go, you do that? And I go, what I do that? And they're like, yeah, you did it the other day. And I go, and I'm like, no, bullshit. I'm like, tell me. And they're like, yeah, the other day you you were standing there and like your foot like crossed over your shoe or something. And I'm like, I'm just using that as an example. It's a dumb example, but it was just something that mundane. And I was like, shit, do I do that? and then I had to self-reflect and self-examine. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, okay, so the way that guy stands annoys me sometimes. It doesn't make me hate the guy. I mean, he's still a nice guy, but I was just like, but every time he did that stance, I was kind of like, oh God, again with that stance, like don't do that in front of customers. And then here I did it sometimes, not in front of customers, but apparently I did it subconsciously, like behind the counter or something, or in the back room. And I'm like, that's hilarious. Like, and I remember laughing and just going like, son of a bitch, look at that. I projected onto somebody. And he wasn't even doing it right. After I realized I did it, I'm like, no, I'm doing it right. I was doing like a kid in play stance or something, and he was doing it wrong. So yeah, whoops, accidentally deleted my question. Thoughts on Ron Perlman? Oh, hey, Chad, what's up, dude? Thoughts on Ron Perlman? This Optimus Primal was hoping the original voice actor would reprise the role from Beast Wars. I was hoping that too, but I'll be honest, I'm a big fan of Ron Perlman. And I will have a video go up on that probably either tomorrow night or Wednesday morning, because I'm not kidding. I was so excited when I saw that post from Collider that I texted it to my mom. Because here's the thing is, like, my mom is, she's been, she remembers the stuff I don't remember, right? So we talk a lot, because sometimes I'll ask her about things and sometimes I won't. But she understands my deep love for Transformers, because when I came out of my aneurysm, I still liked Transformers, but I didn't remember really all the history and why and everything. So she bought me all the DVDs when those were coming out, like in 2011, 2012. Or maybe it was 2013 when I finally bought them. Yeah, it was a couple years later I was finally buying them. But I own all the Transformers G1 on DVD, including the movie, obviously. And so she understands my love for Transformers, and she'll tell me things. She's like, "Oh, I took you to see it in the theater. You cried your eyes out when Optimus died, everything like that." So she has insight that I don't have on my memories to that franchise. But she also knows I'm a big Ron Perlman fan. So when I texted her today, I was like, oh my God, Ron Perlman. My mom's like, yeah, you used to love the Beauty and the Beast show that he was on when you were a kid. And so I'm like, shit, my love for Ron Perlman goes back to even before my memories, which is crazy. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that guy. So I'm excited, honestly. I think he's got a great voice. I hope they make Optimus Primal as big as King Kong, because I was kind of thinking of that. I was like, you know what, with the King Kong Universal, or the whatever, was it Warner Brothers that did those movies, I think, with some company, Legendary, I think. So those are on the rise, and typically when you're making a movie, you'll go, hey, what was successful in this movie? Maybe we'll put something like that in our movie. So I was thinking, if they do Optimus Primal, maybe he'll be as big as like a Godzilla, or King Kong, not Godzilla, but maybe he'll be as big as King Kong was in the recent movies, which I guess he was Godzilla size, actually. So yeah, so I'm down. I'm so down. Like Ron Perlman voicing a King Kong size Optimus Primal, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, that would be awesome. And Chad, thank you for being here, bud. I appreciate it. Cinnabon says, example, I get dead named, then I say, oop, I don't know what that is. Sorry, boo. Hey, that's a good response. I think that is also a fun way to handle bullies sometimes, is coming up with like a snarky response to them. And especially if you repeat it, sometimes it gets under their skin. I've done that a few times. I mean, it's gotten me punched a few times, so be careful. But yeah, sometimes just having like a witty retort is kind of good. I luckily never had to go through projecting when it comes to being trans or pansexual, but I understand why people do it. Yeah, I mean, it happens. Everyone does it, so it's like no one's better. That's my thing. Is like, I think sometimes when I point out like, oh, this someone has this behavior. People think I'm saying it like as this is negative and this is positive, and it's not that at all. I just find it all interesting how we react to things and why we do things to each other and why we have this need to want to help each other, but then we also have like an equal need to want to hurt each other. And if you believe online, like if you just go off of Twitter and social media, you would probably say, oh, the hurting, it leans in the hurting direction. But as someone who's deleted Facebook, deleted Twitter, seldomly uses Instagram, and just observes people in everyday life more than I used to, I see a little bit more. I do certainly see rudeness for sure, but I see a lot of kindness. I work in retail, and retail's tough because you get almost everybody that comes in feels entitled to something. You'll get someone who maybe comes in, and buys like, 2 Lego sets a month, and then you have someone who comes in and buys 20 or 30 Lego sets a month. And they'll both come in and say the same thing. Do you have any idea how much money I spend here? I want this, or I want this free thing, or I want an apology, or whatever. Like, do you have any idea who I am? Blah, blah, blah. You get that all the time. And sometimes people are nice about it. They're just like, hey, I come in a lot, maybe you can give me that 10% discount, or maybe you can throw in a little thing in my, for the kid or whatever. Like you did that for me last time. And that's the thing is you do one kind thing for somebody once, and they'll try to get it back from you. They want more. People, I notice a lot of people, especially in retail, they come in with their hand out, and it's like, hey, you're coming here to buy something and get hopefully a good experience while you're buying it, because I think that's the big lesson or big thing about retail is you want to give people a good customer experience, because they can easily go buy it online. That's the struggle with retail. But the one thing I see a lot of times is when someone comes in entitled, you have the employee then start talking down to that customer. And as much as I know, I've done it even at Lego. There have been times where I cannot keep my cool, and I'll say something negative to a customer that I should not say, and I'll apologize usually, and I'll say, like, you know what, I that's unprofessional. I shouldn't have acted like that or said that. It's not that you should take the abuse, but if you're getting yelled at by somebody, just go to your supervisor and say, hey, this customer needs help. I don't deserve to be yelled at like that. And you certainly don't get paid enough to get yelled at like that. If you're a supervisor, I'm sorry, you do get you get paid a little bit more to handle that. And so you should put on your big boy or big girl pants, and you should go up to that customer and see what you can do to make them leave happy if you can, without giving them stuff or giving them the store. If they just want like an apology or whatever, like, swallow your pride. Be like, hey, look, I've done that before, where I actually, a fellow employee got mad at me. He thought I chose the customer side over him. And this was a guy who was a good friend of mine working at Lego. And we started on the same day together. And he got mad at me where he wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't make eye contact with me, but he never communicated that he was mad at me for that thing. And I got upset because I was like, dude, I would never choose a customer over you. But as a supervisor, I have to do my best to make sure the customer leaves happy. I never once, when the customer was like, that guy over there, he's doing this, he's doing that, and blah, blah, blah. I don't go, yeah, that guy's weird. He sucks. Nobody likes him. I would never do that to a fellow employee. I just go, you know what? I will talk to Brian. I'm sure what he did was by company policy, and he was just trying to, follow our policy to the best he could. And I will talk to him afterwards. But I just want to make sure you're okay, and just so you know, it was just a misunderstanding, and it's not, no side is right or wrong here, but I'm here to help you. If you do need someone to talk to, like, I definitely am the person you can talk to, because Brian shouldn't have to go through that. If a customer's mad at him, no matter what the reason, it wasn't like, I'm like, no, it's not. At the end of the day, I love Brian, and I just want the customer out of the store so I can go to Brian and say, hey, dude, it's cool. I love you, man. You're an awesome guy. Like, I don't want to yell at you. I don't want to be strict with you. And no matter how much Lego tried to make me more stern, sometimes I would, and I didn't like that about myself. I'm like, this is not me. I don't want to be direct with people in a negative way like this. Like, I want to tell them what we need to work on, but I don't want to, like, be hovering over them like this. this lurking shadow to where they hate working with me. Because when people start hating working with you, they start calling out a lot. And I want people to have fun when they come in. I know everyone that works at Lego or everyone that works at Harley or wherever, it's not going to be our job forever. Most likely, we're going to move on to other things. That's the goal. But you want people to learn what they can at that job that you have before they move on. You want to try to impart some of your experiences onto them, so that way they know what to do in a situation that maybe you didn't know what to do in when you were their age and stuff. So I don't know. It's tough. It's being a leader is tough. I'm not a leader. I actually had someone at Lego tell me that. They're like, "You're a pretty good manager at times, but you're not a leader." And that was hard to hear. And I'm like, but maybe they're right. Like maybe I'm not a leader. Maybe I'm just, a good negotiator, or I'm just good with people sometimes. But being good with people and being a leader are two different things. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I went down that spiral, but but I think it goes back to what Cinnabon was saying. Like, we actually had someone that worked with us at Lego who was transgender, and what broke my heart was, so I knew this person when they identified as male, and then I was there when they transitioned to female, and I never had an issue with any of it. But because I knew them before, I did have some problems with the pronouns sometimes. Like I would say he instead of she, and it was not deliberate. It was just muscle memory almost. Like my mouth moved a certain way when I addressed this person, and it just continued sometimes. But I would go to them and say, hey, I'm sorry. Like I know that's not what you want to be identified as or called. It was a slip of the tongue. I'm so sorry. But it's not because of your appearance. It's just because of like it's muscle memory. It's just how I rely on it a little too much sometimes because my memories are shit, a lot. And, but what I hated was that person quit Lego. And I think because they felt like they weren't accepted there. And that broke my heart to hear. I don't know if that's the actual reason, but that's the feeling I got. Because when they left, it came out of nowhere. Like I was just like, you're leaving, you're quitting? And they're like, she was like, yes. And I'm like, why? Like you're a good employee. Like, why would you leave? And they didn't tell me. She didn't tell me, but I assumed it might have been because the way some employees treated her, which is not fair. My name is Seek. I want people to call me Seek. So if someone says, "Hey, I want you to call me, she or he or whatever," I don't. I'm like, okay, you keep calling me Seek, I will keep calling you whatever you want me to call you. It's never an issue, but sometimes you slip. So, but yeah, I mean, everyone projects. So like I said, working in retail, most people come in with their hand out and most people come in projecting. And you have to, as a retail employee, keep a level head about that and just not take things personally. It's kind of what's those four rules of life, like be impeccable with your words, don't take things too seriously, that kind of stuff. Like, so, but it's hard to do sometimes. It's hard to not take things personally when someone comes in and, I had people come in and threaten to kill me when I worked at Lego. I had someone call me names, all kind of names. It just, it comes with the territory. Sometimes it's not fair. It's not justified on their end in any way. But like I said, you just don't take it personally. And then you just get them out the best you can. And you just focus on the guests that are there, that are having a good time. And you make sure they keep having a good time. Anyway, that's my retail rant. Thank you for the 7 thumbs up, by the way, everybody. Chad says, I hope BW Megatron appears in the film. I'm not sure if we're going to get Megatron. This movie sounds like it's going to focus on the Terror Cons and introducing the Maximals and Predacons. And since the only 2, because this takes place after Bumblebee, right? So only 2 Decepticons or 3 Decepticons made it to Earth in the last movie. So I'm going to guess in this movie, maybe no more Decepticons have come to Earth yet. So this will be a good way to not have Megatron in, because obviously we had 5 movies of Megatron before with the Michael Bay movies. So I think it's nice to have a little bit of a break, and then maybe he's a post-credit scene, whether he's a T-Rex or not. We'll have to wait and see. But maybe he's a post-credit scene, and that I would be fine with, and set him up for the 3rd movie. That would be okay. I'd be okay with that. Hey, how is everyone? What's up, VC? Take care, you beautiful motherfuckers. You too, Cinnabon. Thanks for popping in. If you just go off on Twitter and social media, well, there's your problem. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't base any of your opinions on what you see just on Twitter and Facebook and social media. Like, please don't. Like man, oh man. I remember the reason I left Facebook was because it was like, well, I posted something, maybe it was a little aggressive. So again, I listened to the feedback before I deleted Facebook, and I said, you know what, maybe I was a little too aggressive with this post. It was about the 2016 election and stuff. I haven't really gotten involved because ultimately I don't care. I think all politicians are psychopaths. I don't think any of them are good people at all. Actually, I don't think any of them have anyone's best interest except for their own. And I know I don't normally generalize, but I would say like 99% of politicians are scumbags who only think about themselves, and they don't give a shit about you no matter who you vote for, what side you're on. That's just my personal opinion. Many people don't agree. People go like, oh, but look what this person did, look what this person did. And it's like, well, yeah, but the sun shines on a dog's ass some days. So some days it just happens. So you do something that people like you for, and then the rest of the time you don't. So yeah, so I stopped. When I disconnected from Facebook and Twitter, I realized that was my problem. Even when I got back on Twitter, some of you guys will, if some of my haters are watching, I've shared a couple of articles and been like, man, journalism sucks. And then they're like, yeah, that's a fake article, dude. I'm like, shit, they got me. Fuck, I take the L on this one. Just boom, big ol' L. So yeah, so there are times like where you can't even believe what you're reading anymore and seeing anymore. And then Twitter is just like a bunch of people patting each other on the back while jerking each other off. And I'm like, well, I don't want that to happen. I don't like people touching me. so I kind of got sick of seeing that. Honestly, I got sick of scoopers and people patting each other on the back and saying, I was right, I'm the best at this, and and then the fake, like, oh, check out the trailer. Aha, it's not a real trailer. I kind of got sick of all that. And since that was mostly what was in my feed, and if it wasn't that, it was someone being murdered. And I don't like seeing people die. I just don't. It's awful. I can't watch it. So social media, I'm glad I'm just on Instagram, and again, like I said, sparingly on Instagram. Hello, Aviana, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Oh my God, I hate that so much. It's why I don't do handouts. Sorry, not sorry. That's the thing is like, you get, even to the nicest person, you give them one little free thing at Lego. Like, all right, you know what? You guys come in. I see you like, 3 times, 4 times a month or whatever. Come in every week. You don't always buy stuff, but you're nice. And, I know you have a kid, a son. Here you go. Here's a little poly bag for your son. But I had it to where people would come in and they'd be like, hey, man, last time you gave me a poly bag, can you give me one this time? And I'm like, if I have a ton of extra ones that we're just trying to get rid of, I'll usually ask, like, hey, so-and-so, like, can I get rid of these? And they're like, yeah, sure. But if they say no, I go no. And so there was one time where a guy just caught me like 3 times in a row where we had plenty of stuff to give away. So it's like, yeah, man, if you buy something, I'll throw a little poly bag in. And then they do. And then after that 3rd time, I was like, but I told them, I go, but hey, it's only because I have extra. I can't do this for you every time. I let them know. And then they'll come in, a week later, 2 weeks later, like, hey, man, can I get another poly bag for my... And I just go, no. And they're like, oh, man, we were so cool. And I'm like, we're still cool. In my eyes, we're still cool. Are you telling me that you were only nice to me because you got, a couple times you got some free things? Then that makes me reevaluate you as a person now. And now I don't like you if I'm just the guy to give you free shit. No, that's not my job. I'm not here to give out free stuff. If I have an abundance of it and I'm told I can, I do. But I'm not doing it specifically for you. I'm doing it for anyone who asks. So it's not a personal thing. I'm just doing it because you asked and I have a bunch. But if you ask and I don't have any to give out, I'm going to tell you no. And if I'm told we have a bunch but I can't give any out, I'm also going to tell you no, because I'm just following the rules. So I don't know. So if people put their hands out and you put something in it, sometimes they'll be like, more. I had a guy today. Because sometimes when I go to like drive-throughs, I usually buy like Wendy's. I go to sometimes and I get that $5 combo or the $4 combo, and I'll usually get like an extra chicken sandwich because it's like $1.50 or something. Usually that chicken sandwich, I pass quite a few number of homeless people on the way to work, depending on where, like on John Young. So like I might like curve over to John Young from OBT or something, and like curve over to there and go up that way to work, or I'll take a couple of different routes. But usually on one of those routes, I'll see a homeless person. And if I stop at the stoplight, I usually go like, hey man, I don't have any cash on me because I never carry cash. but I'm like, I have a chicken sandwich. Like, do you want it? And I've had people go, yeah, but you don't have any change? And I'm like, do you not want the chicken sandwich? Like, because I'll find someone else to give it to, or my fat ass will eat it. I'm just, I buy it extra for situations like this. And so sometimes I'll offer it to someone who's on the side of the road asking for money. And I'll be like, hey, I got a bottle of water and a chicken sandwich. Do you want it? And the guy today was like, oh, dude, he's like, thank you. He was like really grateful, and I'm like, it's fine. Like, that's awesome. I'm glad you are, because I've had that instance where people go, yeah, I'll take the chicken sandwich, but like you don't have any cash on you, and I'm just like, okay, man, I get it. Times are tough and you're desperate, but like, no, I just have the chicken sandwich. Does anybody I found showing a fictional character where they were good and wholesome, and then after they became evil and hateful? Pretty much sums up working retail. Retail, if you let it can chew you up and spit you out. There's this guy that's going around. He makes like funny TikTok videos. He's like got a mustache, and he makes these like funny little videos where he's talking about working in retail, and people are like, hey, can you check the back and see if you have this? And he's like, no. What do you think's in the back? You think it's some magical land full of like everything that you want? No, it's just a place where we keep our schedules, and like our cheese sandwiches or whatever in our refrigerator, our staff refrigerator. And they're funny videos, like for the most part. But what I hate is that like his mentality is not a positive one for retail. Like if someone comes up and says, hey, can you check the back for something? Why the fuck wouldn't you check the back? Like, I hate that. Like, people go like, oh, God, oh, man, I got to go walk in the back. So what, man? Walk in the back. You know what else is back there? Snacks and, like, food and drinks. So go back there, look for his thing for, like, 2 seconds. It won't take long. Take a sip of something, check your phone, and then come back out, like, 5-10 minutes later and be like, hey, you know what? I looked everywhere. I couldn't find it. I'm sorry. Like, some people just want that peace of mind that you're there to be helpful. And so I hate that. I've been that where I'll go to Target and I'll be like, hey, I scanned this over at your scanner and it says you have 2 here on the floor and 6 in the back. One of those 6 in the back might be the thing I'm looking for, but because I'm a grown white guy looking for a toy, and maybe white's not as specific, but in this one case it was. The guy brought up my race once and he was just like, he's like, you white guys are all the same. And I go, what? Like, I'm at Target. I'm like, did you just say you white guys are all the same? Like, what do you mean? And I asked him, like, I started laughing. I go, what do you mean by that? And he goes, you white guys who collect toys. And I go, all right. And I go, what am I doing that's like every other white guy? You asked me to go in the back and look. And I go, yeah, but your machine says you have 6 in the back. I just thought it was worth a look. I'm looking for one figure. I go, dude, you understand? Like, I told the guy, I go, I work like a day job. Like, I don't hunt for toys. It's not my day job. I'm not like those other toy hunter guys who I'm sure are all kinds of races, like they're not just white guys, I'm sure. And I go, so like, I work all day. And when I come home, when I get out of work at night, I can sometimes swing by a Target or a Walmart on my way home to, look at the toys. I go, so I'm not trying to get something I can flip on eBay. I'm not trying to buy all 6. I just want to know if one of those 6 is this one in the back of the box, so I can buy it, just the one for me as a collector, because I love Halo. And I'm like, I got a Halo tattoo. Like, I'm just a fan, but I'm, so like, could you please just look? Like, why have this discourse with me? It takes you less time to just go in the back and look, even if you pretended to look. He could have just went back there, opened the door, went in, went like this and said, fuck that guy, and then turn around and walk back out. I would have no idea. He'd be like, you know what, dude? I went right to the shelf, nothing there. Sorry. And I'd be like, okay, cool. Computer's wrong. I give up on stuff. I'm just like, if they tell me no, I'm like, okay. But when they say, hey, whatever's on the shelf, that's what we got. I'm like, but that's not true. Your machine over there says you have 6 in the back. So can you just do me this favor, man? I'm not trying to be a dick, but your job is to do customer service. So like, I'm a customer. I want to spend money here. Yeah. So it's just funny. So sometimes when I've seen a couple of that guy's videos, I'm just like, this is not how I would handle the situation. This is not how anyone should handle the situation. But sadly, that's how most people handle the situation, is they get all pissy. They take everything personal. It's like, hey, if a customer asks you to check the back, just fucking do it, man. Go back there and take a puff of a cigarette or something. Like, do whatever just go back there and hang out for a second. Go pee, whatever. And then come back and say, sorry, man, I looked. But I love helping people out. When someone, like at a Harley, they're like, hey, do you have this shirt? And I go, you know what? I'll scan it. If it says we have it in the back, I'll go dig through the warehouse and find it for you. I love doing that. I love helping people find stuff that they want, because I love money. I love people spending money, man. It's great. They could go to Amazon. They could buy in our online store. So the fact that they drove down to physically come in our store, and they want to know if we have a shirt, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go look for that shirt, man. I want that sale. I like making money for people. Um, let's see. Megatron as a post-credit scene. Yes, I would love that. Right? That'd be awesome, Andrew. I agree. I just want to say I feel like an idiot now for talking about Valkyrie reuniting with Flash and King in Black, because that specific Valkyrie died in War of the Realms, and I didn't even know. Holy shit! I didn't know that either. I forgot about that. VCX. Dad, she did die. Damn. Mind blown. Because I liked War Realms. I remember that now. She did die. But Flash died before she died, right? So she still could have been at Flash's funeral. That was my hang up with that. I was like, why wasn't she at Flash's funeral? But now that Flash is back, she's not, huh? Huh. Flash needs to go to Valhalla and find her. That'll be awesome. Didn't Megatron land in the Arctic Circle and freeze instantly, so he shouldn't be in the movie? Well, no. This movie's not a prequel. It's a setup for a new franchise. Like, it's the sequel to Bumblebee, and Bumblebee technically is a reboot. It's not a prequel. So no, Megatron is right now is not in the ice. He's we don't even know where he is, because in the opening of Bumblebee, we didn't see him on Cybertron, so we don't know where Megatron is. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe they'll retell that story like that. I think at this point, Transform film continuity is as loose as the X-Men films. Oh, hell yeah. Hey, what's up, Rami Pond? How's it going? Hey, so I think tomorrow night I will have my Trece episode 4 review go up. And then I think on Wednesday night I'll have Trece episodes 5 and 6 together. Because I think that makes the most sense to discuss the finale, since it's a 2-part episode. So you'll see those going up. So thank you for being so patient with them. I'm sorry I got behind on those. So yeah, Trece is coming up. I want to get those out because, like, in a week or two, I think in 2 weeks, we got Resident Evil on Netflix, the new CGI animated series. And I am definitely going to be reviewing every episode of that series for sure. See, because anyone tried to get one item for the price of less expensive item, said they wanted to buy the less expensive item, but it sold out. I hate that. Doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah, I've had people do that where they come up and they go, hey, so like you had a sale like 3 weeks ago on this shirt. And I'm like, yep, we did. And they're like, can I get it for that price? I'm like, nope. The thing about sales is, like, the window of the sale is why you need to buy it in that moment. And I understand, as someone who's broke a lot, sometimes you just can't buy shit, and you just got to be okay with that. Like, I really want this Green Lantern box set of graphic novels. I am never going to have $200 to spend on a box set of graphic novels. And that's if I get it on sale. It's normally $300. So I will never have that money to buy those. So you just go, okay, then I don't own that. I'm just not going to own that then. Like, and you just have to be okay with that. So, like, I told this person, I'm like, look, like, the sale was then. I can't do it. There's nothing I can do, especially me as like a part-timer. I'm like, look, man, I can't do anything. I'm not like a supervisor here. And even if my supervisors here, like, they can't do much. And he's like, well, can you at least give me like 10% off? And at Harley, we only do 10% off for military. It's you have to be military, first responder, or police officer or something like that, or firefighter too. Like, I kind of count firefighters in there. I think so does Harley. And then like nurses, things like that. So yeah, I'm like, are you a first responder or in the military? And people will go like, no. And that usually stops them, because they're like, okay, yeah, they deserve it. Like, and so I usually just say that. But I mean, I'm not above giving someone a deal if they're buying a lot of stuff, but I let them offer, like, ask me, and then I weigh the positive and negative. I'm like, well, if I say no, I might only sell them these 2 shirts, which will be like a total of however much, $60 or $70. But if they say like, well, I'm interested in this jacket and this helmet too. If I get those, you think you could give me something? I might make that 10% deal with them, because I'm like, well, either I get a $60 sale for the 2 shirts, or all this total, even with the 10% off, I got like a $500 sale. I'm like, I'd rather make the $500, and I'm sure the company would want me to do that too. So I'm not above it, and I'm not against it. It's got to be for the right price. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I know what you mean. Where someone will come in and they'll be like, "Hey, you got this version and this version, but this one's cheaper. Can I have this, or can I have this one for this price?" It's like, doesn't work that way. Yo, Danny, what's up? Welcome, welcome, and thank you, Eric. Dang, we got 10 thumbs up. Thank you, everyone. Real people who work retail wait for someone to ask to look in the back so we can just take an extra break. Yeah, see, I mean, like I said, there's no negative. Like, there's no downside to checking the back. Like, that's what I love when someone's like, now I understand if you're like in the middle of a task that you have to get done, just tell the customer that. Say, hey, you know what? I'm so sorry. I'm in the middle of a task right now that I have to get done, but let me radio someone or get someone who can go in the back and look for you. It's that simple. Communication, I noticed like most places I've worked where the environment is tense or hostile, it's because communication is awful. That's like the number one problem in most places that I've worked, that I've noticed, is that communication is just shitty. Like sometimes you might have resentment towards someone at your work. It might be because you are mad at them for something they did. You just need to tell them. Like if you go up to them and say like, hey, not to sound like petty or like rude or a jerk or anything, but like don't do it in front of customers, by like bring them in the back and say like, hey, the other day you said something to me and I took it this way and that was my response. I kind of snapped at you, and ever since then I've been like, moody towards you. How can we squash this so we can work together? Like it, just do that. You'll find that most people you work with are just like you. They're just they need the money, they need to get by. And the more friendly your work environment is, the more fun you'll have going there. Like I mean, people call out all the time to jobs they hate. So make an environment, and it shouldn't just be up to the supervisors to do it. If you're part-time like I am at Harley, I try to have fun with the people I work with because one, they're great people. Like I'm really lucky. Like everyone I've worked with at Harley has been awesome, and I'm very lucky. Like I mean, I look at my health, I look at my situation, some of the cards that I get dealt sometimes, and also I was working with Riddle John at Lego, and I worked at Harley, and I really wanted to keep both jobs, and I was bummed when I lost the Lego job. But I'll be honest with you, I felt like at that Lego store, I don't know if I really fit in, and I don't think I made a lot of effort to understand people there. And so when that seizure happened, and I was like, okay, I can't drive at night anymore, and this is my night job. So I can't work here anymore. That sucked because I wanted to at least finish my time there as like a seasonal person. Because, I would like to try to, if I could have finished my seasonal position, then maybe I could have worked there again seasonally this year at Christmas and make some extra money. So I was trying to leave on a better note than the one I did, but like I said, you can't help the cards that are dealt you sometimes. But I also felt like I could have made more of an effort to connect with more people there, and I didn't. I kind of was moody around some people because, yeah, sometimes people would say things and I would take it the wrong way, or maybe I didn't. Maybe they were being rude to me, and for whatever reason, and I just, whatever. So but I didn't make the effort I didn't take my own advice, basically. So learn from my mistake. Communicate with the people you work with. Make work fun. I get asked to look when you see an availability online, it's fine, but when people press me like the computer dictates reality and can't be wrong, it annoys me. I mean, I get that. You do have people come in, like I said, the uber entitled. Well, your computer says this, but like me with that guy, I said like, well, your scanner over there said you had 6 in the back. If that's incorrect, just tell me that's incorrect. But he was like, you could just tell he didn't want to go in the back, especially to look for a toy. It was clear he didn't. It wasn't me like guessing that or projecting that. It was clear. And then once he said like, you white guys are all the same, then I realized like, oh, he might even have an issue going in the back because I'm a white guy who collects toys. And that's why I laughed, because I just thought I was like, that's funny. I go, really? You brought up my race? And no, I didn't complain about the guy. I didn't like write a Yelp review. Like, I mean, I don't care. If someone dislikes me because I'm white, I'm just like, whatever. Like, I know I'm not a shitty person. Like, I know like anyone else, we all make mistakes, but like, I try to do my best every day. So no one's going to dictate me. No one's going to be like, hey, you're a piece of shit. I'm going to be like, no, I'm not. Like I'm just not. Like are there things I could work on? Sure. But am I a complete piece of shit? No. So like, who are you? So I just laugh usually when people do that. Like when they're just like, you're a piece of shit, you should die. I'm like, well, yeah, maybe, but I haven't died yet, and I am not a piece of shit. So whatever. It was awesome working with you, and I miss it sometimes, but you can always come back. I don't think they will say no. I mean, that's nice of you to say. I don't know if I could though. Like I said, that store it's a lot different than the one I worked at. And I even worked at the Anaheim Disney Lego store in California. Like I filled in there, I think like twice, um, and it was very go 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 go. But it's different when you're a supervisor. Like I liked being a supervisor at Lego because I wanted to learn how to be a leader. Um, and I thought the one person that could teach me that was this girl we worked, my supervisor, Lynn. Um, I saw that she was trying to find things to improve in herself too. And I liked that about her. I was like, she was always honest with me, and she was also honest with the staff. And I thought that was a good thing for a store manager to have. But Lego disagreed on us on thinking that she was store manager material, which I didn't understand because I'm like, but Lynn was a store manager for like a seasonal pop-up store. They put her in charge of it, and I don't know. I'm like, unless she didn't do a good job over there, which I don't see why. She worked really hard at that place, as far as I know, because they had like printers that didn't work, so she had to come to our store to like print stuff out, and it was like a nightmare for that little pop-up store. But Lynn did it. She was like, "This is my chance to prove that I can do this," and she worked really hard at it. And I thought that effort made her worthy of being a store manager, one that I knew there was going to be growing pains with, but I still felt like she was the right choice. But Lego disagreed, and it led to our work environment got a little hostile because of that, because there was so much disagreement, and it was unfortunate, because I think Lego as a company is a great company to work for, but I think my district manager and the people above that position sucked at their job. Like frankly, now that I don't work for them, I don't give a shit. Like I thought they sucked at their job, and I think they could have been a lot better, and I think they could have been better at reading people and being more willing to give people a chance, but they weren't. They were I don't know, they were shitty, and they talked down to us a lot, and I didn't like that. Um, but they did listen. To be fair to them, when it came time where they had to listen, they did listen. So that's improvement. So like I said, everyone deserves a chance to change or be better, and I hope they are better now. But I don't work there anymore, so I don't know. Your Starscream you showed in an earlier stream, that was one from the Flame Toys models. It is. I own 4 of those Flame Toy models. I haven't built the Bumblebee one yet, but I do. I own 4 of them. I would like to. There's a new one out. I saw it at my comic shop that I shop at here. It was like Megatron as an Autobot. I think that is it from Shattered Dimensions or not Shattered Dimensions. It's a Spider-Man game. Shattered something, or maybe it's from All Hail Megatron. I don't remember. It's from one of the IDW comics. No, it's not All Hail Megatron. What am I talking about? I think it's the one where he becomes an Autobot. It's just that story from before the Unicron stuff. But anyway, so I own a couple of those. I like those model kits a lot because I like building models. I have an Optimus Prime one that's like a foot tall, maybe a little taller than a foot. He's big. It took me like 2 months to build him. Yeah, it was intense. Oh, cool. I'm into Plamo as well, mostly Gundam though. Yeah, I started out building Gundams. My mom said when I was in high school, I lived in the room above the garage in our house, because we had a house in South Carolina, and above the garage there was my bedroom, and it was like this long, skinny room where the ceiling kind of went like that, and there was like crawl spaces on each side. So I had, I think she said I had close to 100 Gundams that I built, different sizes, different difficulties, and I hung them from strings from the ceiling. I put glow-in-the-dark stars that I probably bought at like Spencer's or Hot Topic. I put those all over the ceiling, and then I put the God Gundam on one side and the Devil Gundam on the other. And then some of my favorite Gundams, like I really like the Gogs, and there's a couple other ones that I like. I kept them their traditional colors, but at one point I started painting one side blue and gold like the X-Men, and the other side was like purple and black for like Magneto. And I started painting them. So I had the Devil Gundam was purple and black, and the God Gundam was a blue and gold. And I bought paint kits, and I would sit and airbrush them and paint them. And my mom said I must have had like 100. And sometimes, when you build them and you paint them and primer them, you're putting them together, and a part, like an arm breaks off, like literally breaks in the middle to where you can't fix it. So she said what I would do is I would take I guess I had a friend named Matt that would do this. So I took my cues from my friend Matt because he was a very creative guy, um, and we would draw blast effects on notebook paper, and then cut it out, and then wrap the blast effect around the broken arm so it looks like an explosion was like coming off the arm, and then the rest of the arm I would hang from a separate string nearby, and then I would have that that Gundam like with his head back floating like it's been blown apart and everything. And so I would add, so if I broke something, I'm like, okay, this one we're doing battle damage on, and I would like burn part of it, and I would like puncture a hole through the chest or something, and with like a hammer and a chisel and stuff. So yeah, my mom was like, she was like, you got really into that in high school. And I think I was like importing stuff from Japan, because we had I think a Dell computer. That would make sense. We had web TV also, but I think we had a Dell computer. And she said I was working 2 jobs when I was like 17. So she was like, yeah, you're working 2 jobs, and you were just like, one job basically paid for whatever you wanted because you were staying, you weren't even 18 yet. You weren't even thinking about moving out, or going to college. You were still, 17. She's like, so you would just leave school and then just go to your first job, and then the next day you leave school and go to your second job. And she was like, you worked like, 3 days at one job, 4 days at the other. She's like, you worked every day. And she's like, and you would just take one of those checks would come in, and you would use it to like, pay like if you had a car payment or get something done on your car. She's like, you fixed up your car a lot, your first car. And then she's like, or you would take that second paycheck from your second job and just buy Gundams with it and paint and everything. And it was cool. My mom said one Halloween I built a Nemesis costume. She said it was like 1999 or 2000. I think it was 2000. It was the year I graduated. She said that year for Halloween, so that would have been a year after Nemesis came out, on the PlayStation 1. She said I built a Nemesis costume. I went to the store, I bought like some kind of pipe, and she's like, you wrapped it around your arm, you used cardboard, you made like a giant chest piece, and then you made the head, and then you made it to where you could see out the mouth. And she's like, and then for Halloween, you put a bucket of candy in our driveway, and she's like, you decorated the driveway to look like a haunted house, and then you just sat in the middle of the garage with the bowl of candy like a foot in front of you. And so that way, if anyone, they had to like come get it, and you were like sitting there as Nemesis, and she's like, and you would just like scare them and stuff. And I was like, that's funny. So yeah, my mom said I did a lot of weird artsy shit like that, I guess. Shattered Glass was a role reversal. Oh, that's right, alternate universe. Megatron did become an Autobot in the previous IDW continuity. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I think I think that Flame model kit is from the pre-Unicron, or not. Well, yeah, the new continuity. It's not part of that. It's like the one before that. Lost Light, was that what it was called? Lost Light, where Hot Rod was like the leader, and he had like Megatron as like a good guy with him. It was a good story, actually. Yeah, Shattered Glass, that's what it was. That's the alternate. They have toys for that coming out soon too. Cool paint schemes. Reminds me of a Pixiv artist who drew X-Men characters as Gundam model suits. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big X-Men guy, so that makes sense I would do that. They made Professor X the Turn X and Magneto the Sazabi. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, actually Sazabi's helmet, if I remember correctly, is very Magneto-like. Or it could pass for Magneto. That's cool. Anyway, yeah, I just been rambling for an hour and a half now, so I'll probably let you guys go. I just wanted to get this video up or do a live stream because, like I said, I was feeling better tonight. I had a lot on my mind about human behavior that I wanted to talk about. The light isn't bothering me as much tonight, so I figured I would take advantage of that and make this video. So that way, in the morning when I wake up, I can have more time to edit stuff, and I can get more videos up to you guys tomorrow night. And so for tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, I'm going to try to post videos because during the day I'm going to edit and I'm going to be working on Neverland. I'm off for the next 3 days, and the goal is to rest because of health reasons. I've been working an extra shift every week, trying to hit my sales goal, which I did, and which is awesome. Which means I'm going to get a very nice bonus next month, and that bonus it's funny because my 2 checks and that bonus will be enough to pay rent and my bills and maybe have $150 left over for groceries. So like I have to sell well to pay my bills and rent. Like that's how much I live check to check. My 2 regular checks do not cover rent. and I do not like borrowing money from friends or my mom, which I've had to do, and I pay back when when I can. I don't like to have to do that. So last month I was able to hit my bonus, which was awesome because I had my surgery last month, so it was nice to be able to bounce back like that and work. But because I've been kind of going a little bit harder since my surgery, which is I'm supposed to rest more after my surgery, which I did. I rested for I had my surgery and then I didn't go back to work for I went back to work 5 days later, but they sent me home because I wasn't feeling well. And then I didn't go back again for another 4 days or something. So I had a good 9 days of rest after the surgery, which is more than I got from Lego sometimes. Normally I'd have my surgery on Monday at Lego, and they're like, you need to be back on Friday or Saturday, so that way, because the other managers don't like to work, so it'll just be you and Lynn all weekend. And I'm like, I just had brain surgery. Come on, man, toss me a bone, give me one weekend off. But whatever. So yeah, so I got some rest, but because I've been going a little harder and then also working on Neverland this month in June, I've been burning the candle at both ends again and still trying to keep up with YouTube videos. So I need the next 3 days to mainly rest. So that's why I got this video up. This will go up, tonight, and then people can watch it tomorrow for those who missed it tonight. And then that gives me all day tomorrow to get some writing done and post a video tomorrow night. So I'll get all that stuff up to you guys very, very soon. And Carnage Week, like I said, you'll probably get the first 2 episodes of Carnage Week on Thursday, and then I'll probably post 1 or 2 on Friday, and then 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. So Carnage Week is this week. I've already got some ideas for some of it, but I have to sit and record it. And so I'm going to be working on that over the next probably Wednesday morning. So thank you. Yeah, good night. Thank you so much, Christian. Thanks for everyone who popped in. Yeah, Lost Light, that was it. Never finished that series, but I always get discouraged when I know a continuity is ending. Me too. I read that series all the way to the end, though, just because I wanted to see how it all wrapped up. And it was okay. Unicron was a pretty good story, but I was really liking the reboot for the first year, the first 12 to 14 issues. I really liked, but then it kind of went downhill after that. That spin-off book, Galaxies, that was pretty good. And I think they have a new one out now called Escape. It's a miniseries, but I'm not reading it anymore. I'm not. It's surprising. For the first time in 8 years, I'm not buying a monthly Transformers comic, and that's pretty weird for me. But I haven't been enjoying it, so. But yeah, hey, I'm glad you guys like to stream whenever. I'll watch when I can. Brain surgery, don't people only use 10% of that thing anyway? Which is completely wrong. Yes, I was just about to say that, but yeah, I mean, I probably only do. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't actual brain surgery. They didn't cut into my head, but they ran to coil another aneurysm, they ran a kind of a catheter through my other brain area, up to my head. So yeah, fun times. But yeah, yeah, but it's behind me now, and until next year when I probably have to get another one done. But yeah, but thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Sorry to end on where I kind of lost my energy there, but yeah, thank you again, Warner Brothers, for sending me this. If you guys haven't watched my Long Halloween spoiler review, that is up right now. I also posted my Mortal Kombat Battle of the Realms announcement video the other day, and Transformers Rise of the Beasts, and you will see another Transformer video go up, like I said, either tomorrow night or Wednesday morning for the Ron Perlman announcement, and then you will see more Transformers content on the Seek and Destroy show, for sure, because I love talking about those guys, and I think Seek and Destroy is a good show for Transformers to live on. So we'll continue doing stuff on Seek and Destroy for Transformers and Spawn. I know some of you guys have been waiting for that. So there's a lot of Spawn stuff right now, so we'll be talking about that soon too. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all being here. Thanks for the 11 thumbs up, the 8 people in here now, and the people that were in here earlier, and everyone that stopped by, even the people who came in and yelled things at us and said to kind of we're trolling or whatever. That's all. I had a good time tonight. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the future. Peace. And now the long goodbye. Gotta press too many buttons. Goodbye.